Hello, Stardust Simulation. Today, I'm going to talk about a lucid dream I had, and I've had several of them, and in future videos, I will share more. I want to talk about my first lucid dream. Lucid dreams are when you're having a dream, right? And suddenly, you become aware that you're in the dream. And it's just like you can interact in the dream in the same way you interact with your everyday real world waking consciousness. That's what a lucid dream does. So yeah, you're in the dream and you can say, hey, I want a red couch to appear right there, and then it appears. So lucid dreams are really fun. Now, last week I shared the story about a very colorful and vivid HD dream I had about how I found myself hurtling through space in some kind of pod. I landed on a planet where people were slightly evolved humans with a similar past as us, even had a space shuttle just like we've had. And it's a really interesting dream, so you should check that out. And in that dream, toward the end, I became lucid in that dream briefly, enough to realize I was dreaming what I was experiencing. And then I found a phone booth to call to go back home, and I'm thankful for phone booths and phones that give you ability to go back home if you find yourself stuck in a dream. So I will try to remember the chronological order. I might end up sharing two dreams because I don't remember which one was the first one, but I think I do know the first one. The first one that I do believe was the first one was in my town here. There was a grocery store called Bilo, and in the dream I'm walking into Bilo, and when you walked in to the left, there was a section kind of cubby holed into the corner, and it was the deli section that also had seating so you could just sit down and have a meal or eat a sandwich or something, have a coffee. Sitting there was this girl that I used to know from my church, and she was my best friend when I was 16. She's sitting there with someone else. I think it was her mom or somebody. And she goes, look, I gotta tell you something right now, okay? Right now you're in a dream. I looked down, and I remember looking down at my hands and looking back up at her and saying, oh my God, you're right. I am in a dream. I'm really in a dream right now. And I was like excited that I was aware I was dreaming and I was consciously aware. And she's like, okay, yep. She said, don't get too excited, but I got some important stuff to share with you. So, at the time, I was not aware about lucid dreams and what they were. I'd never even thought of the idea of becoming conscious in your dreams. So, I didn't know. I didn't even know that when you study and learn about lucid dreams, they say don't get too excited because you'll wake up or the dream will phase out of lucidity and back into a regular dream, which I've had that happen too. She says, you got to write this stuff down and remember it when you wake up. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get this napkin here and write everything. And she told me all these she told me these were important things I needed to remember. And I took a piece of paper so I could write it down so I could remember, because, you know, that's smart thinking, right? Well, when I woke up right after that. And unfortunately, that paper was not there in the real world, and I couldn't even remember one single thing she told me. So that's kind of the way it went. And so it will forever be a mystery what those important things were. Now, in retrospect, if we want to go meta here a little bit and talk about spirituality, everything is code and everything is coding, and everything is all organized and orchestrated and coded in such a way that aligns you with the energetic frequency of a series of events on a continuum that appear to have a linear progression. And so it's all aligned up towards that. I'm assuming that what she told me is some kind of code pertaining to my reality and this reality. And just as I was explaining yesterday in Creative Tuesday's video, that everything is coded, and you don't necessarily have to know what it is or why. Perhaps there's no reason. Perhaps when you see a code in the system and you can visually see it and perceive it and understand its function, even though you may not know exactly what the function is, maybe when you do observe the function, it's not necessary to explain, to help you understand what I'm trying to say. When you're walking down the road, they're doing road construction right now, right? And they've got these big orange and white barrels with reflective stickers on them. And so the purpose of those barrels is to slow traffic down, right? Just so that people don't accidentally get hit or injured or run over or run into some equipment. While they're doing this construction, it helps slow the road down. Now, you already know that it has a function, that the barrel has a function, but you don't really need to know that, right? It kind of, as you're driving along, it kind of makes you aware that there's something there, and then, okay, and then you keep going. And generally, most people going up and down the street right now are driving the speed limit, like normal, but the cones are there as a precaution, just in case, you know. So they're there, but it's not really necessary to try to investigate why they're there, or to, and you already know why they're there. There are also things that are there that you don't know why they're there. For example, most of us don't know about electricity and specifics of how the power lines work. But if you look at a power pole, there's this like cylindrical thing at the top, and you don't know what that is. I specifically don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't even remember. At one point I knew, but it's there, and as I'm walking or driving down the road and I pass by one of them, I acknowledge that it's there. I don't know what it is. And then those are familiar things that I've described. There are also sometimes things that you drive by and you don't even know why it's there or what it is. For example, and you may never even think to ask, have you ever driven by a house in a neighborhood and you start looking for the ramp that goes to the garage, or you start looking for a garage? It doesn't even have a garage, neither does it have like a driveway, and you're thinking, well, where's the driveway? And then you realize you went all the way around this house, and there's not even a way to get to it. There's no driveway or anything, and it's maintained, and it appears that obviously somebody's got to live there because the grass is always cut, it's always looking decent, but there's no driveway and not even a sidewalk to go in the house. Well, what you may or may not know is that sometimes they will construct shell houses, and these houses are put there to hide certain facilities that they might use. And I think from my understanding of it, the last one that I was aware of had some kind of water system inside of it, but they don't want to make the neighborhood ugly, so they'll build a house similar to the other houses to make it blend in and just appear to be another house in the neighborhood instead of something that might appear, to disrupt however they're wanting to make the neighborhood look. But that's not important. And so as you're driving by, most of the time you're not even going to pay attention. You're just going to see houses and not even pay attention to that. So it's not even necessary for you to know. Likewise, with coding, with the codes, it may not even be important. You're just driving by. So in my dream, maybe it's potentially a potentially a manifestation of the system making me aware of the code directly, and sometimes it'll do that. Maybe it was feeding information into my subconscious, which is probably happening all the time because it's a ever moving, mechanism functioning in the code, and so I'm just in that dream, just driving by, so to speak. And so what she said wasn't even important at all, but it is a manifestation of the code. At the same time, it could have been important, because a part of me, again, makes me think that those lessons, especially coming from her, I got to think of why I met her, how I met her, and what our relationship was, and think about what she might have told me. And she was a small, that friend of mine was a small, and she was my best friend at the time. Well, in previous years before that. And she was a type of smaller catalyst in my life to help, mold and shape my perception of reality in order to navigate it better. I learned a lot of lessons from that situation. And so whatever she did tell me was probably something beneficial to, this whole journey moving forward. And so that's my lucid dream, with a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it interpretation or musings or commentary about it. And I'm curious to hear about your lucid dreams too, so if you want to comment below and share them, be fun to hear what you've experienced. And in the future, I'll also be sharing some more lucid dreams, and that's just the beginning of my many crazy lucid dreams. I even learned how to induce a lucid dream as well. If you're curious to know about that, let me know and I'll share it. I might even share it next week on the next video, so stay tuned. I might just, instead of sharing a dream next week, I might share how I induced a lucid dream. Well, I will share a dream, actually. I will share the dream, and I will share the modality I used to induce it. So that's that. And just real quick, and I'll probably share this again, my second lucid dream also involved, when I became lucid, I saw my hands, and that's what sparked me into the lucidity in that dream. It was very brief, that dream, where I woke up in the dream. I'm laying on the couch. I was literally sleeping on a couch, and I woke up as if I was still on the couch, and I sat up, and my two friends, one that lived there and one that was the neighbor, were standing in front of me, and they said, and they looked at me, and I said, whoa, I'm dreaming. I'm actually in a dream. That might have been my first lucid dream. I'm dreaming. And they looked at me like confused, and they looked at each other. So, and then we're like, as if to say, what is he trying to say? And then I woke up because I got too excited in that moment. So I guess I told you two of my first lucid dreams today, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. So I'm signing off from here now to edit this video and to get a bunch more stuff done today that I gotta do, as I'm sure you probably gotta do too. And take care, and we'll see you next time. Peace.